and we made three-dimensional crystalline structures. During that time, we used some very special vocabulary. On your sticky notes, I want you to write me definitions for parallel, perpendicular, and vertice. I want you to take your sticky note, and we're going to open up on the inside of your book. And for right now, I just want your sticky note right here. Okay? We're going to use the inside of the new folders for some vocabulary. Alright, so cut it here, cut it here, and you take it like that. Okay? Okay, the difference between the line segment and the line. What do you notice that's different about these two figures? Samian?
One of them has arrows.
Okay, the one of them has arrows. When they have arrows, that means that this is going out to forever. Okay? That's part of our definition. And this time, we're not just working with lines, line segments, and rays, but we're actually talking about how the lines or segments or rays are in comparison to each other. Do they cross each other? Do they not cross each other? Those kinds of things. Okay, so find in your folder notes, you have definitions for how to describe lines that are either the same distance apart from each other, or lines that that cross each other, or lines that cross each other and make right angles. Yes, Miss Jada?
It's called intersecting.
Ooh, intersecting. That's a good term. What does intersecting mean?
Lines that meet and cross each other.
Correct. Lines that meet and cross each other are known as intersecting. Paul, I think you were talking about another term. What did you say? You said parallel. Could you give us the definition for parallel? Right, that's correct. Lines that are always the same distance apart. Fantastic. And then the third term is Amy. Okay, and what do perpendicular lines do? They cross each other, forming right angles. Okay, so this page in your math book is going to show us again notation, or kind of the shorthand way to write this. So it's just like the other page, it gives us the notation and we have to draw the diagram. Okay, so let's look at number 2 up here. First of all, I have two things. I have LM and JK. What is LM? Look at the notation for LM. What is it?
Straight line.
Is it a line? Is that what that notation is? Okay, that's right. There's no arrows there, so LM is a line segment. Awesome possum. JK. What is JK? Just kidding. No, okay, it's not just kidding. You're right. It's a ray. How do I know it's a ray? Because it only has one arrow. Okay. Now, I want you to look at these lines. They intersect. Right here is the point of intersection. Now, do these angles that are formed here and here, do they look like they would be 90 degrees?
Less.
They look like they would be less. That's right. What term do we have that describes something that is less than 90 degrees? Ooh, look at all those hands that just went up. Okay, who have I not heard from yet this morning? Miss Jackie? Acute angles. Oh, aren't they so cute? Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right, so we know that they're acute angles. We know that they're not 90 degrees. So are these lines, I'm sorry, is the line segment perpendicular to the ray?
No.
No, they're not. So what term do we have that means they just cross each other?
Intersecting.
All right, so that's what I want you to write in here. Wow, my handwriting is so messy today. That's what happens when you try to hold. Number 3, Mr. Paul, what is VW? Right here. What is this notation for VW? It's the one with 2 arrows, that's right. And the one with 2 arrows, we call that a what? A line. Fabulous. Okay, Mr. Elijah, XY. Okay, you're right, it's a line. Good. We have 2 arrows. So when we have the 2 arrows, we have a line. Now I want you guys to look at these 2. Does it seem like this part right here, that they're the same distance apart as it is right up here? Does that seem like the same amount of space?
Yes.
Oh, I've already got hands going up. Okay, so which of our vocabulary terms are going to describe these 2 lines? Zamian?
Writing? No, parallel.
Parallel, that's correct. Oops, but I should write parallel. Okay, let's do 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, now think in your head what this symbol right here is going to mean and how it's different from this one. You guys have already got the notation for the lines and line segments. Now this is how the 2 lines or line segments behave. Okay? Notice that this one has a word instead of a symbol. Okay?
Do we have to draw them?
Yes, I'm going to have you draw them, but I'm also going to be calling you up here as a partnership to do one of them, and then we will be able to see it on the overhead. Okay, and why did you draw them that way?
Because it says intersect.
Ooh, because it says intersect. So your lines intersect, but what kind of angles do they form? Okay, well, if they're perpendicular, then the angles they form are what? Yes, that's right. They're 90 degrees. So if it says they just intersect, does that mean they're forming 90-degree angles? No, that's good. Okay. Awesome possum. Thank you very much. I especially like the way that you labeled your lines. Okay, I see that you drew the line. Can you label the dots, also known as points? Because remember, each line has to be not named, so which one are you doing first?
Why?
Okay, usually I do the first one that's listed in the sentence. So the first one is what? D-E. So label your points D and E. Okay, very good. All right, now draw the next line that's in that. Okay. Okay, and why did you draw those 2 lines apart from each other? Okay, because that part that I circled in between the 2 lines, DE and FG, what does that symbol mean?
Draw up and down.
Okay, well you drew your line side to side, so it can't mean up and down. You drew your figure correctly. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to make sure that we understand why you did it. What's the term for those 2 lines? Those lines are?
Parallel?
They are parallel, that's right. So that little symbol that I circled in the middle of the sentence tells you that the lines are parallel. Right here. See how those lines are going up and down? Do they look like they're the same distance apart?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So that's our definition of parallel. See, Jada wrote the word parallel right there. Okay, so we have 2 lines that are the same distance apart. What looks like is happening with these 2 lines? Are they going the same direction?
No.
Okay, they're not. They cross each other. So what words do we have that mean to cross each other?
Intersect.
Okay, they intersect. Now, look at this one. Right here, they wrote out the word intersect. And Damien said, that must mean they cross each other, but don't have what kind of angles?
A 90-degree?
They don't have 90-degree. So what's the term that we have for lines that cross each other, but aren't 90 degrees?
Intersecting?
Right, intersecting. But when they do make 90 degrees, what term is that?
A acute angle?
Okay. Look really quick at the notes. Okay. Don't forget.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, does it look like they're forming a right angle? Does it look like those could form a right angle?
Yes.
Okay, so then, okay. Oh, sorry. Let's look at this definition right here. What does that say?
Perpendicular.
Okay, but it says that lines that cross each other to make right angles. Okay? So,
So right angle?
yeah, so what we need to do is erase this line here. Okay? Now, I want you to draw that line again, intersecting for this one. Very good at labeling them. Okay, now I want you to make a little square mark. Okay. Remember how we did the little notation here to show that this is a 90 degree? You make the little square. Very good. Alright, now you're done with your drawing.